Hello. I want to introduce something well, first of all, I want to say that I'm really proud of myself for completing something that I did not think that I would ever need, but never knew I needed, but realized that I did after reading it. Um, and I recommend this to anybody. Well, actually, I think females can read this too, but I think it is mostly geared towards men. Um, and it's this book right here. It's called Anger Management Workbook for Men. Um, and I'm not sponsored by this book. Like I don't know the author or anything. I actually don't even know the author's name, Aaron Carmen. But you can look at it. And I'm really glad I read this book. Or it's actually a workbook. Like there's like questions, and there's lines that you have to write in, and you kind of answer questions, and kind of reflect on things. It's almost like a journal. It's like a journal, but like it's a guided journal. And uh, I never knew I needed this book, really. I never thought I did. But I feel like after reading it, I've like kind of really ironed out some kinks in my life. I feel like, um, is that a right, is that even an expression? Iron out the kinks. But yeah, it's a really great book. I think that I didn't even know. Like, I don't see myself as an angry person, really, because when I think of an angry person, I think of somebody who's out there always yelling at people, like uh, you know, yelling at employees at a ice cream shop or something like that. Those like classic like videos where someone's really angry and raging and yelling at somebody. I'm not that person. I'm not like an angry person like that. But I do experience anger. I experience anger a lot inside of me, and it has a lot to do with like my personal space and a lot of like feeling that I'm valued. Like I have issues like sometimes with like not feeling like like I'm a valued person, or like I don't feel like I'm getting the respect that I deserve. Um, and so, yeah, I really feel like, this workbook has really helped me uh, figure some of that shit out. Cause like I used to be really angry at like little things, like, the way somebody walked by me or the way someone looked at me. These little things that like are pretty normal. I don't know. Like, I guess like when I've read through this book, I don't know if maybe it's also a combination with like the way I was carrying myself. Like I feel like the more that I learn about like martial arts too, the more I feel like I don't have as much anger, because I feel like a lot of that anger came from a place of fear. Like I felt like I wasn't able to defend myself. Like I felt like I was vulnerable to anybody's whim, or anybody's, if anybody wanted to like uh, impose their will on me, I was almost like defenseless, and I felt exposed and vulnerable. But the more that I learn about like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and the more that I practice just like, and study like Muay Thai and things like that, like, um, and it really gives me that boost, or not that. Yeah, it does give me a boost. It gives me a reassurance. It gives me an assurance in myself that you know that that I'm not physically vulnerable. And that's a really big part, I feel like, of also achieving the mental defense, like self defense, which is feeling like, oh, like things don't bother me as much. I think it's all connected. And just being able to defend yourself physically also doesn't, it's not everything, because like you have to be able to, I think, in a way, be able to defend yourself against words. You know, it's like the classic saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones," but words break you, you know. Um, so yeah, like after reading this, I really started to understand where the anger was coming from. Like what exactly is that anger from? And a lot of it really had to, like, I've found through this book that a lot of it had to come, a lot of it came from a place of like, um, feeling like people didn't value me or respect me, or like, they're looking at me like lesser than I truly believed that I was. And I let that affect me. And that was my mistake. Like, of course, I should, you know, I should ask for respect. I should, not necessarily ask, but I should expect respect. I should expect value, like treating to be treated as a valued human being, as an equal human being. I feel like that's really important. But I can't control how people view me or how they react to me or how they behave towards me. That's out of my control. And so what I can control is how I react to it. Will I give in to someone's, like, if they want to trigger me, or if they want to make me angry, or if they want to annoy me, will I give in to that? Will I crumble, or will I crumble under the pressure of that? Because a lot of the times, these people, um, are lacking something and feel like by imposing their will onto you, which is like, annoying you or triggering you to make you angry, to see you squirm, is it gives them it gives them a sense of like they're taking back power that they lost, or a sense of powerlessness. When someone feels powerless, they have to start to, try to get that power back by hurting others, or feeling like they can influence others, because most of the time they feel like they can't. Most of the time they feel like other people are doing that to them, um, because hurt people hurt people. Um, and I, as a person, there's a lot of situations I can't avoid, and I have to be in situations where I am around other people. So to be able to brush things off, to be able to not care what someone feels about me. Oh, they might feel like, oh yeah, I feel so cool because, like, this person moved out of the way for me. I was able to, stand my ground, hold my territory. And of course, never, it's important to not be a wimp, right? But like, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. Like, when I see someone that is like, extremely dirty in the middle of the street, I move the hell away from them. I give them all the space they want, and it has nothing to do with like feeling weaker than them. It's just like I don't want to be around this person, and and it's like it has nothing to do with like, ooh, am I the alpha male, or am I the stronger male in the situation? It has nothing to do with that. This is the public space. Like there's no competition here. It really is just I'm trying to get to point. I'm going from point A to point B. But for the past couple of years, I really struggled with feeling like, oh, like I have to dominate the space. Like I have to make sure every man knows that I'm the top dog. It's literally impossible, right? It's impossible to do that. And you will drive yourself insane trying to do that all the time. Of course, hold yourself in a way of confidence. I feel like that's important. That's important. And a lot of that really does come from just being able to know that you can hold your own. If it really came down to it, you understand how to defend yourself, that you won't let people bully you. You're not a pushover. You're not a carpet that people just walk all over on. You don't let yourself be that. And that's the unfortunate reality, right? Like you have to learn. You have to put the effort into it. You can't just expect everyone to treat you like a king if you're just, like if you have nothing going for you, right? So but I will tell you now, like, if everybody knew martial arts, everyone. Well, actually, I can't say without assurance, but I do feel that with if the reason why people are jerks and assholes on the street is because they don't have that self assurance. They can't. They don't. They're scared. They don't know they can defend themselves, so they have to go out and prove it to themselves or other people, right? Because if you're out there and you're a piece of shit, then there's obviously something wrong. Like you're not a balanced, healthy human being if you're like that. And so I would say I would recommend give it a shot. I'm learning Brazilian jiu-jitsu and I've been practicing it with my friend, and like I practice on my own as well with online courses, and it's awesome. Like I think that knowing that and it's not like a brutal thing. Like you're not you're not like it's not like a big tough guy thing. It's actually really quite elegant, and it's like if BJJ was a dance, it would be like ballet. It's very elegant, it's very flowy, and it's not about how muscly you are. It's really about like uh leverage, and it's all about like um leverage and like body positioning and shit. I really wish I remembered what the other one was. But it is a lot about leverage. It's not about strength. And and so body mechanics, leverage and body mechanics. So you're not really, you're not brute forcing your way into fight in your fight with somebody, for example. It's all about like being in the right position in the right time. Or not. It's not. It's mostly about like just being positioning your body in a way to put you at an advantage. So, like for example, if you, it's like a great analogy that Henner Gracie uses with the Gracie Academy is that he says that like a belt it's really flimsy and weak. Like it doesn't really, like you could just like pick it up and throw it, right? But if if a belt is tied around you, it's just I mean a belt is a belt. It's like a really, like for example like a karate belt or something, like a jiu-jitsu belt, or like a martial arts belt. It's really flimsy. It's like weak. You can't do much with it. You can't really fight somebody with it. It can whip somebody and it might be funny, but it's not gonna really like hurt anybody, right? For the most part. But if you take that same belt and you wrap it around your body and you try to use as much force as you can, and it's really tied into your body, right? You can use as much force, or if the belt was just enclosed and there's no like it's just a full circle and it's around your body, it's literally impossible to take that belt off you, because there is that leverage, there is that it's like, man, I think I'm doing a kind of bad job explaining this, and I'm making it more complicated. But anyway, it's like you can't take a belt off you. It's tied around you. It's like like imagine trying to pull that belt off somebody. It's tied in, it's tight, like even like just like a regular work, like a belt with a buckle, right? Try taking that off somebody. It's really, really difficult. You're going to use a lot of force. And, if you're trying to lift somebody up by the belt, if they're laying on the ground and you're trying to lift them up with the belt, it's going to be super heavy. But if that belt was untied, you just take it off. It's super easy. Literally no strength, and you could take it off, and it's like. And so in jiu-jitsu, you want to be the belt that is tied. And if you can understand how to position your body in a way where you are the belt that is tied or buckled, then you don't have to be a strong person, because again, leverage and body mechanics. And from what I've read, like people don't really get as injured as much. You're not getting hit in the head. You're not going to get brain injuries. It's really quite an elegant form of martial art, and it is like it's amazing. Like just learning a couple things, like a couple positions with a friend, I was able to find that like, oh yeah, you can position yourself in a way, and like there's literally no way of getting out of that position because you're like the tie the belt that is buckled. It's so locked in that you can't get out of that position, and you're able to hold somebody. And so like if you were in a self-defense situation, somebody attacked you, and you're able to hold them in a position with jujitsu, they can't escape, and you don't have to choke them, you don't have to hurt them, you're really just holding them, right? And you see this a lot, like in self-defense street situations where somebody who knows what they're doing, they can hold them down and just hold them until authorities come and have them, taken away or whatever. And and you don't have to hurt anybody in a self-defense situation. If you're boxing somebody, you might knock them out and you might cause them brain injury if they fall on their head or something. Jiu-jitsu, there's none of that. So yeah, it's such a big thing for my confidence, such a big thing for getting rid of my anger, quote unquote, issues, because I'm a very implosive person. I bottle up a lot of my anger, and then eventually I I I yell at somebody, or I talk very aggressively at somebody, and it's never good. Sometimes you say things that you regret. So yes, this book is super helpful. I would recommend it to any man. If a woman, I would recommend also reading maybe something about anger management. But this was a book that my girlfriend actually, she recommended it to me. So thank you, Cindy, for recommending me read this. And I mean, if you're watching, uh, I don't blame you if you're not watching. But yes, it's such a it's really, you got to read it. Okay, you got to go through it, and let me know if you do read it and see if you see any improvements in your life. I sure have. There's the amount of peace that I have out when I'm outside again now is tremendous. It's life changing. Uh, so yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.